Welcome into another episode of AnchorMoms, the podcast. This is going to be a little bit of a different episode. As you probably have heard, Asheville has just been absolutely decimated by Helene, the storm that came through at the end of last week, and many of us are still without power, without water. Katie and I have been in and out of work. We are both okay. Our families are safe. Katie's house is pretty damaged. She had a tree fall through her kitchen. So we have seen each other and have hugged and talked and cried. And it is, I'm not going to lie, a very difficult time here in Asheville. I have our meteorologist Meghan Danahey with me here just to talk a little bit about what everyone's going through. She was on air with me on Friday as the storm rolled through. It was very scary as we were watching this storm hit and seeing just the devastation start to unfold. Yeah.
Hey, everybody. Meteorologist Meghan Danahey here. Thanks for having me, Karen, to just talk a little bit about, a lot of people are wondering why it was so bad here.
Mm-hmm.
Why did we get hit so hard? And there's really a combination of factors. First, we had tremendous rain falling before this thing even got here. We had a stalled front where we just saw training, rain showers, and thunderstorms, and we picked up a foot of rain when the storm was still 700 miles away. So parts of the area already in landslide territory before Helene got here. So very heavy rain, a foot of rain in some locations, saturating the soils, loosening up all those tree roots. And then the hurricane is weakening as it's moving inland, but we got the nasty side of the storm. The western North Carolina area, as well as parts of the Upstate. This thing came into our west, which put us on the east side of the storm, which is always the worst side of a tropical system. Your highest wind speeds are there. And really that eye, or what was left of Helene's eye, came right over us. So we saw widespread winds between 65 and 75 miles per hour, sustained for 3, 4, or 5 hours. We had gusts as high as 87 at Frying Pan Tower, 106 at Mount Mitchell, and trees and saturated soils. Just a recipe for disaster for us there.
And the rivers here throughout Asheville, obviously we're in the mountains. We have several rivers that come through, and they all crested at just historic levels.
Yeah, we have to go back to the Great Flood of 1916. We broke some of those records. For example, the French Broad at Fletcher, 10 feet above the old record. That's not breaking the record. That's shattering it. Mm-hmm. Swannanoa, we've seen pictures of Biltmore Village, Black Mountain, Montreat, that whole eastern area of Buncombe County. The Swannanoa crested 6 feet above that old record. So again, you're talking about a whole human higher or more in some of these areas. So just historic flooding. And again, it came from the pre-Helene rainfall. And then, we doubled those amounts with Helene. We saw Yancey County, which is up along the Tennessee state line, almost 31 inches of rain in a little over 48 hours. Mm-hmm. And there's no place for that water to go except into our river basins. And what we saw around here is like the worst thing we've seen in our generation.
Yeah, it's absolutely terrifying. And I know one of the worst parts about all of this is it knocked out power. It very much damaged the water system here in Asheville. So we will not have running water, many of us in the city limits, for weeks. Schools have just announced they're closed indefinitely. And folks are without water. They're without food. The grocery stores have long lines. It's very hard to get milk, eggs, bread, things that you need. Katie and I are tag teaming a bit here with work, so I'm not sure when we will be back together again to podcast, but we just wanted to give you a little update to let everyone know that we are safe and just to let everyone know what's going on here in Asheville. I will not lie, it is very trying times here. It's really, really it's just devastating is the only way I can think to put it. I am going to, in our show notes and on social media, if I can, again, it is still very difficult for us to get service reliably, but I'm going to post in the show notes ways that you can donate, ways that you can help if you are not from the Asheville area or looking to just send some aid to our city in this time of need, we will have that information there. And we will, once Katie and I are back, once lives begin to return to normal, we will have a more normal podcast for you. But
new normal, maybe.
Yes, our new normal. Yes. But thank you, Meghan. She has been working tirelessly to throughout this storm, as everyone here at the station is. This is a time when we know that this is our job to step up and give information out to the public. So appreciate everyone bearing with us, and send some good vibes for us here in Asheville.
Anchor Moms is a Sinclair podcast produced out of WLOS in Asheville. We're your hosts, Katie Killen and Karen Zakalek. Anchor Moms is edited by Matthew Yates.
For more information on the topics discussed in this episode and to stay up to date on future episodes, follow us on Instagram at AnchorMoms.
You can follow Anchor Moms on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Know a parent who can benefit from this week's Anchor Moms episode? Your recommendations help our show to grow, so spread the word.